All right. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of Different Perspectives. Today, I have with me some very, very, very special guests and that I have been anticipating and looking forward to hosting on Different Perspectives podcast. The famous Rainbow Aunties are here with me, and I am so happy to have them. We are going to talk about their book, their life, their love, and it's going to be a great time. Auntie Marilyn and Auntie Naomi, both of them are here. I'm not going to say their nicknames that I have for them online, but they are here with us, and I'm so delighted. So, round of applause to have them on the show with us today. I'm so happy about it. So, welcome the two of you. Welcome. Listen, y'all, they are busy. Do you hear me? They are busy. So I must be special that they came and sat with me today. And so again, I thank them for so much. I'm so excited. I'm just ready to get into the show. So listen, let's start off with how y'all coming with the Rainbow Auntie?
Well, first, before we get into that, I want to say thank you very much, Jennifer, for taking time to spend your evening with us and share more of our story, more of our journey. And the Rainbow Aunties, how did we come up with that name, honey?
When we got on TikTok, because I had my page first, and I was just messing around, and I said, I want to do some more stuff like us. I said, so let's think of something that we can come up with. I said, we gay, whatever. And we originally,
Hey, whatever.
came up with, we were grandparents,
Mm-hmm.
so we said we could do, rainbow something, and then we thought about it. Well, no, we like to because all of our lives we've had young adults in our lives, nieces, nephews, cousins that have come through our home. So we've always been that 18 kind of figure.
Right.
So
right.
let's just do the Rainbow Aunties because young folks like to navigate to us. So let's
Right.
keep it
And
going
then her name has always been Auntie.
Hey, that's
When
right.
she was a coach, she was Auntie. She was Auntie to all the kids in the neighborhood, but her name is Auntie. So it was so appropriate for
Oh,
yeah.
you always been 18?
Yeah,
Yes.
everybody calls me
Oh,
Auntie.
Mhm.
oh, okay. Okay. So you was 18 before it was cool. Okay.
She put the name on the map.
His name in 1885.
Yep, sure
Yeah,
did.
that's the
Nice.
name.
Ooh, that was before it was cool. You right about that. Okay. 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 Now, this book, they have a fabulous book. And listen, if you can't find it, you can go to the jenniferexperience.com and get this book. Okay. From Pain to Love, Our Journey Outside the Rainbow. Is there a meaning?
Absolutely, absolutely.
I caught that. That whole title just did something in my spirit. I was like,
Yeah, yeah. And for those who have read the book or believe with the story, there's a lot of pain, but it's filled with love. And all of the stories that are embedded in our journey is outside the rainbow. And now we are living inside the rainbow.
Yeah, I think the outside the rainbow was trying to relate to others that we have been doing this thing before everybody understood what the rainbow was all about. And what
Right, right.
we've been doing it for a while, so we've been outside the rainbow, but we've been doing this thing for a minute. So.
Yeah. That's kind of about the best way to
Yeah.
explain it.
well, I think my first question is, because the 1960s, I wasn't around at that time. Not quite yet. Not quite yet. Didn't come around till some years later. But I have studied about how it was at that time. I've studied about how it was at that time just to be black. I can't imagine what it was to be like to be gay or lesbian or whatever we would call ourselves, because we know back then, I don't think they said lesbian,
Right, right.
but I could imagine that was more than difficult, because I know when I came out, it was in the 2000s. I was scared shitless. So tell me, in that time frame, like, what was y'all thinking? Like, was y'all scared shitless too?
Well, we're gonna go back like the 1960s. Now we were born in the 60s.
That's right.
We were born in the 60s and 64. And so I started feeling that I was a little different, probably when I was about maybe 8 or 9 years old.
Okay, you would describe it as you felt like you were a little different.
Yeah, I feel like I was a
Yeah.
little eccentric. I felt like things caught my curiosity, but I also thought that, it was just a part of, being a kid. So that would put us into the 70s, the early 70s. So I have always been attracted to girls. I just enjoyed being around girls. I just always felt very special around girls because for some reason they always made me feel special because I was always like the little tough one.
Yeah.
And so they always would kind of rely on me to be the tough little girl. So
You was popular with the girls too. Huh?
yes, I was.
Listen, I know the feeling. Don't tell my wife, but I know the feeling. I know the feeling.
So it would be more like the 70s for me, and I know Marilyn has probably a different.
Yeah, it was. Well,
Oh yeah, well we're gonna get to Auntie Marilyn.
Oh, okay.
We're gonna get to Auntie Marilyn.
I had time, but I still was a struggle that I was dealing with, Jennifer.
Oh, and we're gonna get to your struggle. We'll be fair with you. We'll get to your misunderstanding of what you were feeling. We'll get to it. We'll get to it. I'm sorry. Excuse me. Go ahead. So you're saying you really knew? You knew it like 8 or 9, but you had some feelings.
Well, let's just put it like this. You know, when you're little and you playing with your girlfriends and friend girls and you play house and you play, you play doctor and stuff. I was always the husband. And I always wanted to be the husband. I always wanted to be the person that was going to be taking care of the family. I was going to be the one that was going to be making the decisions. So I always was the husband when we played house. So
and let's be clear, playing house is very, very normal.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
From a mental health perspective, all little kids play house. Okay. I've heard people try to act like playing house, there's something like nasty about no. Now, if your child has been abused or something and they play house and do some other things, that's different. But normal curiosity, kids play house just like they used to play cops and robbers. Okay, so let's just be clear.
We would do stuff like, go to work, cook dinner, come home, and that's the kind of thing play house because you want to be grown.
Which you played the daddy.
Yeah, I want to be the daddy. Yeah.
You went out and got the food for the family.
Yeah, I would buy it for the family.
Okay, I got it. I'm liking that. I could feel that, that sense of you ran the show.
Yeah.
You was the boss. I like that. So, Auntie Marilyn, I'm going to be fair. When you were young, did you play mom when playing house?
I was always a single person when I played house. I didn't want children. I didn't want a husband, wife. I was just always a boss. When I played, I was just a boss. And I'd play office, I played lawyer, I played doctor. I was always a high profile person. And then when I played with other friend girls, I was always in charge, giving orders. And so I never had that kind of play house. We never really did that.
So you've been a boss all your life.
Well, putting it together and looking back, I remember many, many years when I did start having relationships with individuals, I was struggling. I was always unhappy. I was always mad. I always had an attitude throughout all of my adolescence, through all my junior high years, and on into the young adult. And when I reflect back on it now, I think about what I was going through then, and a lot of it was I was confused and I didn't know why. I did not know why I felt uncomfortable when I was in relationships, and I just thought it was just not the right person. Then the next person I was uncomfortable. And it was just always a struggle that I couldn't identify.
Okay. Let the record show, though, you was always the boss.
Yeah, I'll take that.
Okay. Now, you still a boss?
Still the boss.
I knew you were going to say that. I knew it. And listen, y'all, I concur.
She's still the boss.
Never been on any of their lives. You know who the boss is. And that's all we're going to say. Because I don't want to get Cimarron in trouble. So, yes, she's still the boss. Okay. So, when it came to finally deciding that you all were going to get together, not actually being out, but like just having the relationship part, even though it wasn't public, did you all like say to each other, okay, listen, I like you, you like me, and we know we like each other, and we ain't going to tell nobody. We just going to keep it a secret until we figure out what we're going to do with ourselves. Did y'all do that? Or did y'all kind of like, because I know like some lesbians, they have an unspoken pact that when we in the house, we free. But when we go out in public, don't hold my hand, don't do none of that. How did y'all navigate that?
Well, in the beginning, we had to be secret lovers because when we fell in love with each other, I, coming out of a tumultuous relationship, my first lesbian experience, and it was a bad situation. And so we became friends behind that. And we instantly fell in love with each other. I had to make sure, and I'm sure that Marilyn had to make sure that it wasn't one of those things where I was just,
It was just fake.
yeah, I'm just falling in love with every woman I can come around, right?
That's what it
Yeah,
sounded
trying to make sure of. So we became instant friends. And then, but it was obvious that we cared a lot about each other. So we did a lot of sneaking around in our first couple of
it was not
years.
really anything we said to each other verbally as
Yeah.
we moved through the different phases of our relationship. It was just kind of understood because here again, I was in a relationship. I was in a heterosexual relationship. So it was just obvious to the two of us that we had the strong feelings for each other, but it was not anything that we could expose or share. So we just shared with each other our love until we made the decision. We really didn't even talk about it. I think I called you and I told you, what did I say? I said, I'm ready.
Yeah, because during that period of time.
Yeah, don't you say in the book that didn't you say in the book that you told her you was ready?
Yeah. See,
That's
because we had a lot going on during that time. In the book, we had this relationship that we should have been in because not only were we falling in love with each other, we had a complicated situation outside of having a boyfriend. Our families were connected.
Yeah.
Because it was a whole weird vibe. And everybody was like, hey, you two can't kick it like that because her boyfriend at the time was very close to my uncle, which they were the best of friends.
Yeah, they were best friends.
And so it was like, what you doing? You can't be doing that because he was considered a part of the family. So it was a real bad situation with everybody involved. And so we had to really keep it secret. And then when people started kind of getting an inkling that we might like each other, there were some conversations. There were some things that were said to us. One of them was by my aunt. And then you were given an ultimatum by your
my then husband.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. So now before we go that far, because that's juicy. So hold on before we get there. Now, Auntie Mary, let me ask you something, and I want to ask this from a very non-judgmental tone. Do you think you loved a man and a woman at the same time? Or do you think you really loved cinnamon roll and you just was in denial?
I know that I loved Wilma. I knew that then.
Oh, y'all don't make me cry.
Right? All right. I knew that the heterosexual relationship I was in, it was someone I had dated from 7th grade, and both of our families were on a level that it made me feel like I had to stay connected to him. It was kind of told to me that this is who I needed to marry.
That's good. That's called family pressure, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, it was difficult because I was just trying to do what I thought was expected of me. I just pushed back and suppressed what I really wanted to do for a couple of reasons. One, because it was a same-sex relationship, and I knew in my mind that was a no-no. And then secondly, I had dated this guy from 7th grade, and it was just something that I was taught that I was supposed to do. So I don't even remember what your question was. Now,
Did
you
you-
got my emotions
did you-
going.
think you was in love with a man and a woman?
Oh, no. And I think about that all the time to this day.
I don't judge people. I think it's very possible because I think we put love in a box, and I think love is so abounding that it's very possible to love two people at one time.
I can't speak on it. I'm not saying it's not.
Yeah, I'm just wondering if you did.
No, I did not. And I know
That's gonna be a shocker for a lot of people to hear.
And you know what? There's different types of love. Like I can tell you, because I was married to a man as well. And how I knew I was a lesbian is when I fell in love with a woman. Because the way that I loved any woman that I've ever loved, and I've a couple, I ain't never loved a man like that. Let me speak into the mic really clearly. Not never. Not never.
Yeah.
And I'm a person who really loves intensely.
Yeah.
And that's no slight against my ex-husband, bless his heart. No slight against him at all.
Right.
Because it had nothing to do with him as a person.
Right.
It just had to do with the fact that for my needs and what I really wanted and the type of relationship that better suits Jennifer, when I fell in love with a woman, it was over. It was just over. And so, again, that's how I knew, because there's some intensities in love that you feel. That's the beautiful thing about love. Love can be real, but the intensity of it and what type of love it is what really lets you know. And so I knew the difference because I said, wait a minute, this is earth-shattering, groundbreaking.
I think we felt that from the from the moment that we saw each other, the moment that we was around each other. It's like, I remember a cousin of mine, I talk a little bit about in the book, saying that, hey, because I told him that I got a problem. And he's like, "What's your problem, girl?" I said, "I like Marilyn." And he was like, "Oh, well, the only problem you got is because she got a boyfriend." But I could tell when you two around each other that it was something kind of, strange about y'all. I don't mean that in a bad way. I just mean that it was some chemistry between you all that was not what I seen between a man and a woman.
So cousin peeped it. He seen it.
Yeah, he peeped it. He peeped it.
And the way I felt about Wilma, she was my first same-sex relationship. I have never felt that. The butterflies and the excitement, and I still have that. That's how I know that I do. I really do.
Wait, can we just stop and say, oh, that's so beautiful. And how long y'all been together? 60, 80 years? I mean, how long?
We've been in love for 40. We've been together for 34.
Okay, so for you heterosexual people, for lesbians, 40 years is 80. Go ahead.
I know, right?
That's a long time.
Yeah.
That's a long time.
Yeah.
It's really a long time. And I'm saying something else that heterosexual people really should know. Because you see how when Auntie Naomi talked, she said her first love, then you say it wrecked you.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, my first lesbian relationship.
Yes, babe, my first lesbian love broke me up, broke my heart down
She said
too.
her first lesbian relationship. She said her first love.
Oh yeah, because I wasn't in love with her.
Oh, excuse me.
I wasn't in love. I thought I was in love with her, but it was something different. It was just different because it's my first experience with a woman.
I should have let y'all see my face. Auntie Marilyn snatched me up and got me together. Let me go back. Excuse me.
My first woman love has been this woman here.
She wants me to understand that there was a difference. She said her first lesbian relationship wrecked her, not her first love.
Just clarification. No biggie.
We have clarified it for the whole audience to hear that you were her first woman love and you have not get me together.
She was my first, but my first lesbian relationship was a hot mess because I didn't know what I was doing.
That's what I was trying to say. Normally, when you go into the life, it's definitely not the first one that lasts this long. So I was trying to point out the uniqueness of Marilyn's experience is what I was trying to do before she snatched me up. Yes, you have a unique experience because most lesbians have to go through a couple of people and get kind of hurt before
Right.
we get it together and, kind of know, we got to go through what we want. So you had a pretty unique experience. Not saying you didn't have your hard time, but you had a unique experience. That's what I was trying to say.
I understand.
Now, y'all see how they don't play, right? They got me together quick. Okay. Question answer. All right. So was it hard? Did you feel bad for your husband when you finally
Mm-mm. No, I didn't, because the type of relationship we had was tough. He was someone that was very difficult.
And then plus we had spent 5 years in this whole dryer situation, just going around in circles like that.
Yeah.
Because during this time when we fell in love, before we actually started living together, in between that we had children, we had a marriage, we had me moving across the country,
Yeah.
we had us denying, we had us falling out. So it was a whole lot of stuff that happened in that 5 or 6 years after we discovered that we was in love with each other, trying to deny that we should be together. We did a lot of things, but we always was connected with each other, still fighting this thing about we can't be together.
Yeah.
What do you think was the biggest thing to push you to deny it? Well, you think it was family? I mean, from the book, I think that was one of the biggest things. But what would you say was, now that you look back on it?
To really be honest with you, yes, family, but for the most part, I thought what I was feeling was wrong. I really personally thought that this is not something I'm supposed to feel. This is not something I can act on. Family and the naysayers and the church and all of that was there. But the biggest part was that, no,
Why
Marilyn,
did you feel like that?
because I was not
Did you think it's
taught.
unnatural, or you think it was religion that made you think that?
It was just something that was unfamiliar to me. I felt like my feelings I was having was making me think something was wrong with me, because this is not what I'm taught. I'm taught man and woman. I was raised in the church 24/7, 5 days a week. I was in church, and that's what they taught. They taught against homosexuality. So that was my mind. I can't do that because that would make me an awful person.
Yeah.
So I didn't know better.
I mean, and we know that in this day and age, most churches, if you gay, you're going to hell in a handbasket. I mean, your ticket to hell is signed and delivered.
Yeah, that's right.
And again, I am an advocate for better theology.
Yes.
And so the truth of the matter is, for all of my gay friends and family that are listening, it is important for you to understand and know. I can tell you right now, Jesus never talked about homosexuality ever. You will not find Jesus speaking about homosexuality in the Bible ever. Now, you will have many preachers who try to flip scriptures and make you think that that is what Jesus is talking about, but he is not. And I think that it's imperative that you understand that. And then I also think that it's imperative that you can reconcile who you choose to love with your spirituality, with whatever God you serve. I know for me, when I came out, I was in full-time ministry and I fell in love with another minister in the church that I was at. The worst thing to do. Like, I couldn't find a lady that wasn't at the church. Duh. It was horrible because I was like, I can't preach no more. I can't do nothing. No, God just save. I mean, it was a mess. And most of that was bad theology. And like you, I was like, I can't worship God in spirit and in truth because I'm lying.
Right.
I mean,
Right.
it was a whole lot. And so even now, get kind of sick when I see my brothers and sisters who I know are still in the church, but they in the closet because they don't feel free enough to be who they are, and they don't believe that God loves them for who they are.
Who they are. Right. That's right.
It's like, if you really believe that God knew you, he formed you in your mother's womb, then how is it that you don't think he knows you when you're not at church?
Yeah.
Now, these people that you're trying to fool, that's a whole nother issue in itself.
Right.
It took years for me to realize that, because even though I wasn't as spiritually connected as Marilyn, because I would only be in Arkansas during the summertime. In the summertime, I went to church. When I was in Chicago,
I heard that.
we didn't do church. My mom, we didn't do church. So, but I had knew that was spoken in the church, and I thought that something was wrong with me. But it took me years to come to a maturity level to realize, because I always was ducking and weaving my relationship with God because of that. But then when I realized that you keep telling me that I'm his child,
And that he makes no mistakes.
make no mistakes, so I'm okay. But it took years for me to get that in my mind to rationalize that, because in the back of my mind, I would always say, everybody say this ain't right, this ain't right. But then you tell me that I'm a child of God and I believe in him, so it just kind of messed me up for a little bit.
And on that same note, I was just sitting here thinking, as both of you have been talking, about how much I did not really care. I don't say I didn't care what my family thought, but that was never on the forefront, because I was always a rebellious person. I've always been a leader. I danced by the beat of my own drum. So I really didn't care, but it was a struggle I had within myself of, I'm disappointing God.
Yeah.
I'm not being who he wants me to be. It was all about me. And my mom, my grandmother, those were the two people that were most important to me that were living at the time that I took this leap and left my husband. I don't want to say I didn't care what they thought, but because of the struggle I was having in the relationship I was in, I think they were like, honey, you can leave and go live with Scooby-Doo. Well, no, no, wait. You know what I mean? Like a person named Scooby-Doo. Okay.
Lord, none of these people are alive, right?
Yeah. No, Scooby-Doo is.
No, really. No, my mother, grandmother deceased. My ex-husband is still alive.
I always thought your grandmother and your mother may not have known that you were.
No, they knew.
I was gonna say, yeah, she knew.
But they knew that was good for you. They knew
Yeah.
that. They knew that crazy girl down the street was good for you.
Yeah.
And
Not the crazy girl down the street.
girl down the street was good for you, so go with her.
Wait a minute. Now, see, you can't say that and not tell that. Why you was the crazy girl down the street? What you do that made you crazy?
Well, like I said, the first lesbian relationship.
Oh, you must have dated one of them crazy ones. Y'all was fighting and stuff? Don't do that, Auntie Marilyn. Don't do that.
We wasn't fighting. It was more like, let's put it this way. I was not taking no stuff, because that's the way I was raised. I was raised in Chicago. You don't let nobody talk smack to you. You don't let nobody talk crazy to you.
Oh, yeah, y'all Chicago people, y'all don't let people play in y'all face. That's my brother Donnell. Shout out to Donnell Wrights. He from Chicago. He say, don't be playing in his face. So y'all Chicago people, don't play in y'all face.
Yeah.
I got it.
And I didn't have any communication skills. The only thing I had was I had resolution skills, but they were street resolution. So I was not a good person. I just didn't know how to handle myself And I didn't know what to do when somebody's coming with me from a standpoint of your words and your negativity. You may not be physically attacking me, but you're mentally attacking me. And I wasn't prepared for that because all I knew how to respond was in a physical way.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that I was jumping on nobody. I'm just saying that,
Okay, I'm getting ready to say, let's put out a disclaimer. You weren't saying you was beaten.
no, I wasn't beating or hitting on nobody,
Oh, yeah.
but I was argumentative. I was argumentative, just not a person that you would really want to be hanging with. But she still liked me and I still liked her because there was no physical stuff that was going on. It was just all this drama, you know. When we broke up, it was very bad because I just didn't react right. I didn't do what I was supposed to do as a mature 19-year-old.
Oh, as 19.
At 19,
Now,
yeah.
see, here's the thing, because see, when lesbians break up,
That's what I
listen,
hear.
listen, Auntie Marilyn, let me tell you, I've had CPS come to my house 3 times. I've had my lights tried to be cut off. I mean,
Yeah.
we lesbians, we have to do better. We have to learn how to simply disconnect. And I think part of that is, honestly, women have a lot of emotion.
Right. Mm-hmm. Right.
And so this is why when we say when you've been together 40 years, it's like 80, because to manage 2 women and the emotions that women feel, see, men, they can disconnect and then they done. Like they don't have no need for closure, for conversation, for whys, for nothing. But women, it's like we can't just disconnect without the emotion. And if you hurt us, you're liable to get hurt back. I mean, it's the emotions. And if we don't have appropriate coping skills, you might be in danger, you know, just depending on who you are, where you are, what color you are. I mean, what culture you are. How many women did you date before you settled on in? Did you taste the rainbow or did you just,
No, I've got a variety.
oh, you had a variety? Oh,
There were 2 that I was intimate with, but I had other girls that I felt were flirting with me. They was curious, but it was never any action. So it was never any interaction, but I knew that they were curious. They had heard about the situation with this previous relationship and they wanted to know what all the noise was about. And so then there was
oh, so they was all up on you. They was just all chasing you. Listen, I knew it. I seen the pee on it. I knew it. I got it. They was all up on you.
But at that time, in the book, I say that after that incident, because all my life growing up, everybody knew me as Wilma or Wilma Jean. And when that incident happened, I officially buried Wilma because Wilma Jean was not the person that I wanted to be. I was very immature. I was too emotional. You know, my game was not good. I couldn't communicate. And I'm saying that because when you are brought up in Chicago in the projects and every day was a survival, you're not talking your way out of a butt whoop. You're going to have to fight it out. So every day it was like, I don't need to communicate with you. I don't need to talk. I just need to show you that I can either whoop you or I can do. So I just didn't have that. I didn't have those skills. And my mother was not a very good communicator. And she was the same way. She was going to go down with you fighting. So I didn't have that. So when that incident happened, Wilma died. And then Naomi was born. So since that moment on, everybody kind of referred to me as Naomi, except for family who would always knew me as Wilma. So I was kind of excited to let Wilma go because at that point I had met Marilyn and she had started making me feel like my emotions and my thoughts and my words was important.
Oh, she started softening you up.
Yeah, she did. She did.
See, because I was going to ask you, so you never had like, you know, cool little stud name, like, you know,
Matt. Matt.
See, I thought y'all was going to say no. Oops.
No, and we said at the same time, didn't we? You know, her theme song is Return of the Mac. Oh, yeah. That's her theme song.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, can't say I didn't get to the nitty gritty. Again, as I sit with my pinky up. Well, I mean, the name sound like it fit at the time.
Well, it was just one friend, and we have a lasting relationship to this day. And she called me that in the heat of me and Marilyn having a discussion in between that 5-year situation. And she was telling me, she kept saying, this is the first time she ever said it to me. She said, "Man, you got to calm down. And you got to calm down." And I said, "Mac?" She said, "Yeah, Mac." And she told me what she meant later when she said that is because you got a straight girl and she like you. You got to learn how to act.
Well, you know what? Now, here's some sage advice. And this is wisdom speaking, because here's the truth. when you say stuff like that, it kind of makes me have to agree with you because I've been also told that too. You know what I'm saying? You do kind of got to bring that down a little bit,
Yep.
especially if you think that what you're doing is influencing what you perceive to be a straight.
That's good. That's real good, Jennifer.
Listen, she's sitting here, so obviously she wasn't straight, and that's another
Right,
lesson
yeah.
in itself. You can't make nobody be gay, so you can't
Right.
turn nobody out. So y'all stop saying she turned her out. She didn't turn her out.
No, that's
Okay.
right.
Evidently, Marilyn made the decision, and she a boss, so ain't nobody turned her out. We know this. But what I'm trying to say here is, at the end of the day, sometimes you do got to bring the ego down. You got to bring a lot down in order for you to get what you really want out of a relationship. That's just some fine tuning.
Yes.
I can remember when I first met my wife and I told her she was going to be my wife, and she's like, "You're crazy." And I remember some of my friends being like, "Girl, you got to calm down a little bit."
Yeah, calm her down. Yeah.
And I didn't get it then. It took a while to convince her. I wasn't ready to calm down at that time.
When you were saying, I was thinking about all the different things when you were mentioning about you can't make somebody gay, you can't turn somebody gay. I was thinking about something we saw on a video or one of the articles we were reading where the girl said, "I'm tired of people saying to me, you just ain't had the right man." You know what? You're right.
Hello, listeners. Jennifer here, host of Different Perspectives. As we celebrate Pride Month, I want to take a moment to share something very special with all of you. Have you ever found yourself navigating the complex journey of parenthood after your child has said to you they're gay? It can be a challenging road to walk, but let me assure you, you're not alone. That's why I wrote the booklet, Shades of Acceptance, Navigating Parenthood After Coming Out. In this heartfelt booklet, I share my own experiences along with practical advice and compassionate guidance to help parents like you understand, accept, and support your LGBTQ plus children with love and authenticity, no matter how old they are. Whether you're struggling with questions of faith, acceptance, or simply how to best support your child, Shades of Acceptance offers insight and wisdom to guide you on this journey. I encourage you to get your copy today. Head over to Amazon or my website, www.thejenniferexperience.com, to grab your copy today. As a matter of fact, I have a special treat for you. If you use the code PRIDE, PRIDE, you'll get $10 off either the e-booklet or a physical copy. Let's make this Pride Month a celebration of love, understanding, and acceptance for all. Thank you for listening, and remember, love is always the answer, and love still conquers all. I love all of you. Take good care.
I was thinking about something we saw on a video or one of the articles we were reading where the girl said, "I'm tired of people saying to me, you just ain't had the right man." You know what? You're right. I sure haven't, but I got the right woman.
Yes.
I've been dying to find a time to say that.
Well, but I mean, I think one of the things that is important for appropriate representation of our community is that we clear a misconception.
That's right.
Mhm,
That's
mhm.
right.
I think that that is a common misconception, and I hear it all the time.
Right.
You can't bring out of someone that's not already in.
That's not there. That's right.
I've said it 1,000 times. If I was a totally straight woman, that would not cross my mind to be with a woman. I just couldn't do it because I have that in me and I know that it's
Mhm.
there.
Mhm.
It's going to come out.
That's right.
And so the thing was, Marilyn was living as a straight woman at that time.
Yeah. Yeah.
And my
Mhm.
friend girl was saying, look, you have a woman that is straight and you are having opportunity to have a relationship with her. You need to find a way to make that work. But at that time, we didn't know that. We were young. We just didn't know. And she
And
didn't know.
I didn't even know that that was possible. I thought, in my mind, when I was younger, I thought gay meant two men. And so when I was having these feelings, I'm thinking, this is off because gay is not two women. That doesn't even exist. When Wilma and I became close, when she was having the situation with that relationship that went bad, and I found out and knew that it was a woman, I thought, oh man, this is interesting. Because this really does happen. I really knew nothing. I knew nothing about two women. I just knew that that was something that I felt I was struggling with. I'm like, that ain't really what I'm struggling with because that doesn't exist. That's a no-no.
All your life you've been living a straight life.
I've been living because
It's
that's what
straight
I
life.
thought it was called, the life I'm supposed to live.
Yeah,
I know
right.
it's called straight life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
And when you were with the girl and
I didn't know what that
So
was.
before the breakup happened, when I met Wilma in college, I was at Spelman. I came down to Arkansas to see her at UCA for that weekend. And well, not to see you. I can't. I'm sorry.
Oh, he's
You're my boyfriend. I'm sorry. My bad.
Oh, I'm finna say, I don't think that's accurate according to the book.
You know, she was with her girl, and I came to see my boyfriend.
Yeah.
But we talked. I went to the park when she was with her girlfriend, and I thought, man, they're really a couple. It's two girls, two women. Okay.
And the funny thing about it was, she didn't know that we were girlfriends. Because she didn't really know if I was gay. It was confirmed to her that I was gay when you came to the park. Because of my
that's right. That's
because
right.
of my
That's right.
reaction to you.
That's right.
Because she said, but I didn't know.
Oh man, it
I
was
was
all kind of
wondering.
stuff going on.
I was wondering if we were on the same page, if we was going down the same path.
That's
and,
right.
And it,
right.
it
Right.
was confirmed when she showed up. How you reacted, how you lit up, how you all.
That was crazy.
It was crazy.
That's crazy.
It was absolutely crazy. And so that was my confirmation that I was gay. The woman that I had spent all this time with, she was pursuing me, and I didn't know she was pursuing me. And let me say this. So it is possible to be friends with somebody and be of the same sex and you not be attracted to them, even though you may be gay.
That's another misconception. So here's the thing, honey. Just because I'm a lesbian don't mean I want you. Please stop. Please stop. Please stop. Because we get that all the time too. Like, oh my goodness, it's a lesbian. So if I'm friends with a lesbian, that must mean lesbian. No. We have types. We have preferences. Okay. And we also can be in committed relationships with just one person.
Amen.
Please understand. Do not insult us. And also pump down on yourself.
Exactly.
I love women. Don't misunderstand me. I love women, but not every woman I want to sleep with.
Exactly.
Mhm,
Yeah,
mhm.
exactly. All this is a learning process because at this time I'm 19, 20 years old. When she said that gave me confirmation that, yeah, I might like you, but I'm really attracted to her. I might be able to be okay with you, but I'm really attracted to her.
How you say that again?
I'm
You're
really attracted to her. When you're 19 and 20, all of those emotions, all of those thoughts, they don't connect at that time. You should be allowed to mature and grow. And at that time, I didn't know what that was. And you throw in the element of being gay, it's a whole blender going on. You don't know how to connect all those dots.
Yeah.
I would agree. I'm trying to make sure we clear up all these misconceptions. Might as well knock them all out while we're here. Let's go back to Auntie Marilyn because I think we done macked out.
Match out.
Yeah, we done macked out. Mm-hmm. We done got her. So Auntie Marilyn, when you did your separation, did you let him down easy?
When I did my separation, our relationship was already extremely frazzled, and he had a girlfriend. And so he had gone out of town for an overnight trip with his girlfriend. And while he was gone, he came with the U-Haul. And so there was no letting down.
Not the U-Haul store. Oh my! Every lesbian got the U-Haul story.
And I bet you nobody has a better U-Haul story than that. Like,
That was broke down, and we had to leave it on the side of the road and come back and get it.
Well, now the U-Haul supposed to work. U-Haul, you need to do better.
Actually, it was hooked onto the car, and the car broke down.
Oh, the car broke down. Okay, good. But every lesbian got the U-Haul story.
I didn't know that. Okay.
Oh, there's a Mac that comes in the middle of the night and pulls up with the U-Haul and backs it up to the house and unpacks and packs you up and puts you in a truck and whisks you off.
well, I was in broad daylight. We were in broad daylight.
Oh, that's right, because you from Chicago and you don't play. I forgot.
No, it was convenient at the time.
Okay. So in other words, you can say, look, she got my heart and I'm just dropping you, buddy.
No,
You
no,
didn't do
it was
it.
no,
You didn't do it.
it was no confrontation.
I didn't say anything.
Yeah.
He was not there, and I left, and all of the action happened after I relocated and got to where I was going. That's when the phone calls and the attorneys and the threats. I avoided all of that by, leaving while he wasn't around. So it was no exchange, no letting down easy.
Okay. So then once y'all got the U-Haul, all right, y'all ride off into the sunset. Okay. We riding off. Okay. Well, we still got to deal with this marriage. So now what?
We get there and we dealt with the marriage. I stood a chance of losing my girls because I did not make a decision the way the law required at that time. I didn't know it then. I know it now. And as I think about all of that was coming at me, I didn't realize how wrong I was as it relates to that. Those were his children. And I left it with a whole nother state. But
Oh, you move.
yeah, I moved. So yeah, we had to endure the receiving the letters and the lawyers attacking and him threatening to take the girls and me trying to, hide that what you're saying is not true. My thing was, like I said before, the relationship with him was very sketchy. It was hostile. It was not in a good place at all. So it was almost like you really don't have a leg to stand on to talk to me about why did I leave? Whether you want to, if I want to admit to you whether that I'm in love with Will or not, that's totally separate for what you need to be. Right.
All of that leading to the fact that we knew what we were in. We knew that you had the girls that we had left. And so we had decided how we was going to navigate.
Right.
And so that became the pact.
Right.
So that became the pact. So for people who haven't read the book, what's the pact?
The pact was the agreement that we made with each other.
The pact is basically saying that after we decided to do this radical thing,
right,
that we were determined that we would do whatever it takes to make it be successful. And if that meant that we had to hide who we were,
right,
if I had to stand in the back, whatever it was, we were going to
protect the girl, and to protect each other. And of course, she's in the military, so protect her job. So those were all the terms of protection we had to be in agreement with.
Wow. How difficult was that?
It was extremely difficult. But when we were in it, and I say this all the time, I did not realize how difficult it was because it just was by nature, I didn't realize how difficult it was until we released everything.
Yeah.
As the years moved toward closer to actually when we released the book. But things started evolving before the book, of course. But with the releasing of the book and all the unloading, oh my God, you don't know how many tears I have shed in realizing how much I was suffocating to have to live like that, and it was all to protect the girls because I didn't want them to have to deal with any mistreatment because of a decision I had made. I beat up on myself all the time about did I make a selfish decision because I was in love with somebody? Why I couldn't just stay where I was and do what was right so these girls wouldn't have to go through that. But then I look on the other side of it and I say, what they would have witnessed being in that family unit that I had prior to being with Wilma would not have been healthy. It would not have been the example I would have wanted to set anyway. So all they saw was love when Wilma and all of us became a family. They saw love, and that's what they talk about now to this day. And that's all we ever wanted to exhibit. That's all we did exhibit. And I'm sorry, I got a little bit off task.
No, you did good.
No,
I think what you were saying about we made that decision because of what had happened, but it was also the decision that, Marilyn is a beautiful one. She is a beautiful one. And when you look back in 1990, and she was gorgeous. So here we are, this beautiful woman that nobody knows is gay. So she's being pursued by every man that wants to be with a woman and say, hey, I can take care of your children. I can do this, I can take that. But yet and still, she has me in the background. So then here I am too. I'm not sure. I'm not trying to downplay me. Men have always found me, fascinating.
I know. Ain't that interesting too?
Right? Yeah. It's weird. It's weird.
Even the men want the Mac. I don't understand it.
Because I had a banging shape. Now I was banging, baby.
Listen, me and you are here. I already know. To this day, if I step out this door the wrong way, they'll be lined up.
Yo, man. See, look at these two beautiful Black women. So people are pursuing us. And here we are trying to be as normal as we can to society, but also knowing that I'm not going to mess with him. I'm not going to do nothing and have this relationship. So it was like a wow.
Yeah.
It was like a wow ride. Yeah. It really was.
So if you had it to do over, what would you do different? In terms of, because I hear you expressing the shame that you felt and the guilt in terms of the children. And see, a lot of people in relationships, I've had this with clients, they stay in relationships for children. They make a lot of decisions based on what they think is the best for their children. And then we find out years later that either it didn't matter to the children, it affected the children in a positive way, or it affected the children in a negative way, or You know, it really wasn't a factor. It really wasn't about the children. So maybe you wouldn't change anything. I'm asking you, if you had it to do differently, would you do anything differently?
The one thing I would do different is I would find a way to have our relationship remain secret without feeling that I had to pile a lot of lies on top of my personal life to colleagues and organizations I was a part of and parents of the children. I did not have to go to the extreme of trying to sell myself. I could have just been me. But I say that now, and I don't know how easy that would have been or could have been.
Everybody always assumed that I was a lesbian, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
So I was the lesbian sister to everybody else because I always had my hair short. I was always athletic.
How about when it came to the children? How long did y'all wait? Because I've had people say things to me, everything from, is my son going to turn out normal because I'm gay, that foolishness, to when did I tell him, to all the kind of stuff. Now, I can tell you, my son is 17. He's never seen me with a man. So I didn't have to tell him. You know, he's never seen me with a man. So I didn't have to tell him. So for everybody who's asked me that, stop asking me that because he's never seen me with a man. So I didn't have to tell him. However, I did explain to him what it means to love a woman and what type of relationship his mother chooses to be in. Okay. And I'm saying the word choose for me, not to offend anyone. I'm just saying that the relationship that's best for his mother and why I'm in it. Okay. Because I think when he was like maybe 6, he got into a little argument at school because somebody said, your mom is gay. And he didn't know that that's what it was called. And so he answered, no, my mama isn't. And when he got home, he told me, and I said, well, Ramsey, yes, your mom is. And he was like, oh, you know, because he didn't know.
Right. I get it. Yeah.
And so what I taught him in that moment, though, is number one, you don't have to defend me to people. If somebody call your mama a bitch, your mother's name is Jennifer, period. That's what my name is. Now, don't get me wrong. You stand up for your mother, but don't let people, you know, get you all riled up, especially if what they're saying is true. Your mother is very gay. I'm gay, 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 gay all day long. Listen, I'm gay and I'm happy. I'm every sense of the word of gay.
Yeah.
And I'm happily married to a woman, so I am gay. That is very true. But I don't want you to ever have to fight about that. But I mean, literally, when he said it, he was like, Mama, they said you was gay. And I said, I am. And he was like, oh. I mean, it took the little life out of his body. So I'm just wondering for the two of you, actually, see, and here's the thing. They probably knew and y'all thought they didn't know because normally kids, we're much smarter than y'all give us credit for.
Mm-hmm.
Plus we real nosy. You know, we go and look in y'all room when y'all not home. I mean, you know, I'm going to tell all the children secrets. But y'all know what it's like, you know, as time has progressed and generations have progressed, kids are coming out smarter and smarter. So I would imagine your children probably knew before you told them. But I'm just curious as to what y'all thought they was thinking every night.
I want to say this real quick. The only thing that I would change, and I'm going to go back to that. Remember that.
Okay.
The only thing that I would change is that I would have, and I think she did know, but I would officially have liked to tell Marilyn's mother that I am going to take care of her and that I love her. And that's the only thing I would have changed. And I wish her mother had known that I'm the one and I'm going to take care of her. So that's the only thing I would.
You just insist on making us cry.
Me and her mother, we started off with a rocky relationship. In the end, we had a great relationship. And I wanted her to know I got her, even though you asked me who raised me.
That's my mama answer.
Wait, you got to tell that story. What happened?
Wilma went outside to take the garbage outside, and she didn't put on any housekeeper shoes. And that was something Mama was a stickler for. You always keep shoes on your feet, house shoes in the house, and she does not like for you to go outside with your house shoes on.
Nothing wrong with a little country.
She was barefoot. So when women came back in the house, Mama asked her, was you raised by a pack of wolves?
Yeah, who raised you? I didn't answer her because I raised you. I just closed the door and wouldn't sit down. I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna get into that with her. But with the girls, I think that I don't know if they knew. I think really to them, they
knew because their friends were telling them.
But
and they
thought
knew
that was normal because they just
that's all
love.
they knew.
They just knew love.
Yeah.
They didn't
know love.
They didn't know if is a heterosexual child. Do you know everything about what your parents and their romantic part of their life, All you know is that mom cooks you dinner, dad takes you to practice, whatever. So those things were in our household,
and that they love you.
and they love you. So in our household, they knew that they get a cooked meal, and we made sure they would sleep. It was normal.
Now, see, y'all, listen, this is different perspectives for a reason. Y'all know.
Yeah, but even with that said,
When we look back on that, we just was pushing through blindly. Probably was some noises. If it was, nobody ever said anything to us about it. So, and that's good. Let's all keep it that way.
We just talk to our friends about it. No, we don't say nothing. We just laugh and we giggle and run away from the door. We don't say nothing.
Man, that's probably what they did. It's little things coming out as the years go on that they share, that they said to each other, or that they thought when this happened or when that happened. And I'm still like, I don't know what you're talking about.
And keep that same story.
Exactly.
Stick to that story. So what age were they when y'all finally said, hey, I hope, right?
They knew, but when we decided to sit them down and talk to them, they were early teens.
so I think
It's a discrepancy on the
Right,
age
right.
that they were. We need to ask them again.
and they don't
How
really,
old were y'all? We went because we booked a spot at a restaurant
yeah.
and took them out to eat. And the oldest and the youngest are saying two different times.
Yeah.
Me and women, I can't remember how old they were, but I know they were not children. They were young
They
girls.
they had a 5-year difference between them. So one was a preteen, and the other one had already gone off to college, right?
Mhm.
And so
Yeah, she just started college.
and so we booked a place to go sit down and talk. We wanted to go to a restaurant. We sat down with them, and
And we told them that they've always known us AT. I said, AT and I are in a relationship. We are in love with each other.
How old were they?
well, I think the
The
youngest
oldest
might have
was-
been about 15.
The oldest was like 19 and the youngest was like 15.
yeah, 15. Yeah,
15,
they got a
16,
five, yeah,
something like that.
yeah.
And they really did not ask any questions. They
They
just
didn't.
looked. And the youngest, that's our drama queen. Her body language, she's still a drama queen. She's
Still a
just
drama
like
queen.
so extra, but her body language was like, we didn't know if it was because she had questions or how you figure I didn't already know why you're telling me, or I don't know what you mean. It was just a body language.
I
of
think
her,
she
but
said, man, folks kept
It's
asking
asking
me. She got a little joke side to her too. She's a little funny girl. She said, man, people kept telling me, you know your mama
Mama
ain't
take
me
the
good.
game.
She was like, nah, nah. And so when she said that, we kind of giggled. She said, "Oh, man, I wish I would have had a different comment."
Yeah, she was like
it was
so
like-
confused. She was like thinking all different things. Like, so it was almost she was trying to make us think like she didn't believe what the people were telling her. But obviously it didn't come to as a complete shock. Because we sleeping in a bed together. And 'cause
Right.
somebody said that to either to the oldest or the youngest
Yeah.
about, your mom, they sleep together. Your mom ain't
they
sleep together.
But the thing is, in her oldest,
Crazy.
she had went off to college, and she had met her now husband, and he had met us, and he was communicating with. He told her. He told her.
Wait a minute, I have to say, Jim, this is embarrassing.
Wait, what?
Wait a minute, no, what I'm saying, this is almost embarrassing as I hear us say this, that yeah, these kids were darn near grown, but they
only
knew,
showing love.
but they kind of knew. I want to say they knew,
But they didn't know what it meant. They knew they had two parents, but they didn't associate that parent meant that we were intimate. They just
Right.
knew that they had two people that were taking care of them. And they didn't correlate that. Just like you don't correlate your mom and daddy sleeping together. It's just mom and daddy. You know what I mean?
Does that sound really weird to you?
Listen, you really put me on the spot to answer that question.
I never thought my granddaddy slept with my grandma. I thought they was just grandmama. It didn't dawn because I didn't care. Even when my mama had all her boyfriends.
Let me say this before I forget.
Okay.
I want, if not on a podcast or something, I want the girls to ask some questions.
Yes.
I want them to be
Yeah.
interviewed. Because I really want to know what I don't even know.
I bet you your oldest daughter's gonna say, "Oh, I've been there."
No, my
Oh,
old,
no, she
the
did
oldest,
say-
the oldest daughters are hard nut to crack. You probably know nothing
But
out of
she
her.
did say, when you said the 40, 60, 40, 10, she said,
Yeah.
so I knew that. I didn't, so
Yeah.
you've been loving Auntie forever. I
Yeah.
knew that.
But
so
you could be leaking it out of her, but she's not gonna do a public speaking.
You say her husband told her?
No,
He was a boyfriend.
He
at
was
the
a
time.
boyfriend. He said to her that, I love your mom, I love your Auntie, but you know they're together, right? And she said, what you mean they're together? And he said,
No, she didn't.
I know.
in our home, they just saw love. They saw two parents. I coached them. And we went through all the steps as parents, and they never correlate that to being a loving relationship as two people connected.
So she said, "What you mean?"
She said, what you mean they're together? He said, they love each other. She said, well, I know they love each other. I know because my auntie loves my mom. I know they do. He said, no, they in love. And she said, what? He said, no, it's like my mom and my pop, they're together. And she said, oh, okay. And that was it.
Every time I hear the story, it's like it's the first time.
And I look at it like,
Wait, then she came home and told y'all that he told her that?
she said nothing. A few years later, when they got married, she just went about, when she did a beautiful video presentation to the both of us, and she had always said that we were her parents, that she had two loving parents. And she never said that they were in a relationship. It was her parents. And then the youngest one started saying, my parents. And so we just never really got into the depths of our conversation. We have more conversations with our grandkids
Right.
than we did with our kids.
Right.
We talk to our oldest grandkid now more about our relationship than we did with our kids. And
Sure do.
he gets it.
How old is your oldest grandkid?
He's 9. And he gets it.
Okay, so what have you told him?
He said, Ganti, you love Mimi, right? I said, yes. He said, so did you meet Mimi before so-and-so? And I said, well, sort of, kind of.
You can say it, G-Paw.
You better.
G-Paw is his granddad.
He said, you met
who
Mimi.
I was, married to.
He said, so you met Mimi before G-Paw? I said, I met Mimi along with G-Paw. But you and Mimi love each other? And I said, yes. Is that okay? He said, yes, it is okay. He said, I just wanted to know because everybody be talking about gay as like suspect. But I was like,
no, it's called sus. Yeah, at the school, he said the children at his school say gay is that's the little school language they're using. But the thing is, and we say this all the time, it's the grown folk and the other people that are having a problem with this. The children are good because he has an individual in his class.
I was just about to say.
Okay. And they are great with it. He's very sensitive to the fact that we need to respect what a person is identifying as.
He probably got a gay kid in his class, and he probably got other kids in his class that got gay parents.
He gets it. So we talk more with him than we ever did with our children. And he'll say, because that's what he said. This is before we even mentioned it. We were talking about just love. And he said he was probably about 6 or 7.
Yeah,
he said, I know what love is. And at this time, we had never discussed anything with him. He said, I said, how do you know what love is? He says, I know mommy loves daddy. I know Tia loves Uncle Cornell. And I know Mimi loves Gansi. So he knew to connect that he saw the love between us.
Right.
And so we started communicating when he got older. And so now we tell him all the time, you can ask us anything and we will answer it. And we will tell you.
He asked the other day, could he read the back of the book?
Yes.
The inscription that gives the back of the book. And I was in the other room and he asked Granty, and Granty said, go ask Mimi. So he comes in there, he's asking me, and of course, I don't realize he's already asked these, whatever.
She lives a secret life conflicted with her.
He's already read the back of it, because it's on display up here on our bookshelf. So I'm sure he's read it. And so when he comes and asks me, I say, that's something that I would have to ask your mom and dad if you could read the back of the book.
Oh, too late.
That's already been done. She said she gave me a hard no. So I said, well, why would you come here and ask me that? He said, well, I asked Granty, and Granty told me to ask you. I said, yeah, but you've already asked your mom and dad. Ooh. So no, don't read the back of the book. But that was just his way of wanting to ask me to read the back of the book because he wants to talk about it. He's already read it.
Right here.
He just want to be able to ask more questions.
And he's a really sweet kid. He'll say out of nowhere, I love you, Guarantee. I love you, Mimi. And he just gives us, because to him,
a big hug
because to him, it doesn't matter. And that to me is the ultimate evolution of our relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? I think that's important, something that we need to bring out too. His generation,
mm-hmm.
and even the generation before him, like his generation, his parents' generation,
mm-hmm.
they really don't give a shit about this.
Right.
They don't. And I'm saying it like that because if everybody else could get that, if churches could get that, if the government could get that, if folks could really get that, we'd have a whole lot less problems. He's going to school with people who are gay. He has friends whose parents who are gay and are not fazed by this at all.
And you know what? This is no secret, so I can share this. In the school, when I say that these are third, fourth, and fifth graders, there are a couple of them there that were assigned a different gender at birth, but they're completely identified as the opposite. So I'm not even really talking about,
Yeah.
and they are the teachers and all the students recognize the gender with no problem. And they look at you as a parent and me when I walk in there like, no, why you can't understand? So the children get it. We're the ones that need to be educated.
Yeah, I mean, you touched on it at the very beginning. What we've been taught and programmed to think versus what these generations after us have been taught and programmed to think is totally different. And so we can't let go of the old ideas. We're not willing to think of a new way.
Right.
We're not willing to open up to new thoughts. And so we're holding on to what everybody else thought before us instead of really looking at what's in front of us.
Right.
And see, that generation, they are not even phased. For my son, this is not even an important conversation. I'm serious. My son and I never talk about the fact that I'm lesbian.
Right. Yeah.
Ever. Because it is not important. It is not important to him at all. And I'm not saying that like, oh, he don't care. I'm saying that like, he ain't ashamed. I'll never forget one time I had on a skirt and he was like, why are you wearing a skirt? That's he's not used to seeing me in something.
Right?
Yeah. He was like, why are you dressed like that, Mom? And I'm going to tell you, another thing kids do now, they hold you accountable when you're not authentic.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you can't switch up on them.
That's right.
Yeah.
You can't switch up on them. If what y'all was trying to do then, y'all trying to do that now with your grandchildren, they probably call you out.
We be the laughing stock of everywhere.
Baby, that grandson probably be like, I know what y'all doing in the room.
Yeah.
I mean, for real. But I think, again, the way that we can do that is being, older lesbians now, with, me being middle and y'all being mature lesbian.
Thank you.
It's appropriate representation. I just think it's important. I've seen TV shows and I don't see a whole lot of highlighting Black lesbians that are doing great things, that are living their lives, that have raised beautiful kids, that are doing great. I don't see that. And I think that contributes to what people think. And that contributes to the misconceptions and the lack of understanding, the lack of acceptance. Because one thing I say in my book is that you don't have to understand what it's like to be gay to accept it. You said that in the very beginning, that if you are truly not attracted to another woman, you won't understand it.
Right.
Yeah.
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 That's another thing too, but we won't get too deep in this, but just to put a pin here. That's another thing too, when you talk about you curious.
It's some things that won't raise your curiosity.
I tell my straight friends all the time, don't be curious because you're going to go there and not come back.
It's just some things that don't raise your curiosity. If it's not in you.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. You're right.
If, as a woman, if you say you straight and you're really curious, let me caution you right now. You're curious or you want to know.
That's right.
And if you really want to know what it's like, honey.
But even with that said, though, Jennifer, some people still make the choice to not
live gay,
even though they may enjoy whatever.
And that's quite all right.
That's quite all right.
Yeah.
It really is. It really is. So some people choose not to.
And then also with that said, if you go over there, if you're curious and you test your curiosity and you choose to not stay over there, 9 times out of 10, you're unhappy if you not want to live who you really
But I think
are.
I think at that point in time, you need to express that to the person that you're with, that I may have been bi-curious, because that's only if you are trying to live your best life.
Right.
You give that person an opportunity to engage in your life.
Yeah.
Don't hide it from them. Don't make it an issue coming up in a situation later that could be hostile or.
Correct. Yeah. I think it's just really important. I mean, I don't think there's any reason for you to put yourself in a closet if you don't have to. I think in 2024, you shouldn't have to.
Exactly. And thank goodness for those pathways that have been forged and made for us to be able to walk into these various journeys of our life and accept who we are and live out loud. Because I think about the things that we struggle with when we have our conversations on the younger generation being comfortable in living who they are, who they want to be, who they truly are. We look back on our people, our forefathers, and the trenches that they made for us to forge through. And they probably said the same things that we're saying Like,
Mm.
let's recognize the differences being made because of the struggles
Right.
that we have put forth. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And with that said, I would always caution people that even with if you would just outside of a lesbian gay relationship, life in general,
Oh yeah,
don't
you're right.
underestimate the people that came before
Absolutely.
you. You may see them in what they are at this stage, but they
Mhm.
have had a life.
Mhm.
And there's some things that you can relate. So in a lesbian relationship, just because Marilyn and I have been together in the same household for 34 years, don't assume that we have not experienced some of the issues that some of the
That's right.
younger lesbian relationships are
I'm
having
having
or
right
have
now.
had.
Yeah.
So engage in those conversations to see where you can connect
Mhm.
with those people,
Mhm.
especially if it's someone that you think that you can gain something from.
That's right.
So don't just assume because they've been together for what can they tell me? They've been together. Oh, baby,
Yeah.
we can tell you a lot.
Yeah.
Yes. No, and I think wisdom is important. Yeah. Especially for same sex couples, because obviously what you all went through during that time, times have changed since then.
Mhm.
And so what you went through is a lesson for anybody for what we're going through now because it's different. So you had to obviously navigate very differently because of that time frame and what was happening and the pressures of everything that was happening in your lives then and in your family and all that. I mean, all that was a lot. And so now, maybe we can say for some people it will be easier, but that doesn't mean that you don't need to hear the wisdom behind the story. Like you still need that. When it comes to your book, what part of it are you most proud of?
Oh, wow. What I'm most proud of is the transparency and how the transparency converts to wisdom for those that read it, because it's something in there for everybody. So when I say it's not your typical lesbian romantic story, I'm not saying that that's not in there, but what is in there is that plus you see poverty, you see the struggles with religion, you see relationship issues, you see raising children, you see two people taking care of a dying parent. There is something in there to grab. You see the time frame we were in, of the era of the deep Bible Belt states we were living in. It's a lot in our story. So what I am most proud of is the transparency and the fact that there's something in there for everybody to connect.
Yeah, as I was saying, whether or not you're heterosexual, homosexual, or what, you can find something that you connect with, and you covered a lot of that. That's essential, but it's also I like to think that when it comes to the LGBTQIA community, it's I don't say a blue, but it's something to tell you that what you've been told, what you think, what society portrays upon you in these relationships, they're just as normal.
Mhm.
We're just as
Normal,
normal
right?
as every
Quote
other kind of
unquote.
relationship.
Yeah.
That it's called life.
Mhm.
It's
Mhm.
called life.
That's
It's
right.
called love. It's called anger. It's called death. It's called debt. It's called
Yeah. Yeah.
it's called all that's called life.
Mhm.
And just because you're an LGBTQ person in that community, you don't escape those. But now you have someone that you can say, "Oh, I can
That's
identify
right.
with them."
That's right.
And
That's good.
that's what
That's good. That's good.
Yeah, I think that's good too. And I think that's why anybody who is in our world should definitely read the book. But I think that's also why anybody outside the world should also read the book because when you bring normalcy to the lesbian world, that helps people digest it better. Because this is the problem with it. We want to make it seem like if you're gay, then it's such out the norm. It's like what you talked about when you first said it. You said when you felt like you were gay, something is wrong. Something is so wrong. Like something is. That's because you were programmed to think that it's not normal.
Yeah.
And so if there's a way for people to make it normal, then that thought in your mind won't come. Some people now, when they see it, they don't feel that way, but others they do. And so the only way we can, try to change that way of thinking is educate people. Like I said, appropriate representation, all that kind of stuff. It's just imperative for people to understand. And hopefully, when they read you guys' story, I think, I agree with everything that you said. It has a lot stuff in it. It has I was profoundly touched by it. And I was like, wow, I didn't even realize there was this much to it. I think I finished it in a day and a half. There was a lot to it, but it kept you engaged. So I think that that's important because you don't want to be bored. You know what I'm saying? So it's important to be engaged in the story. Every story doesn't have good tea. So I think that was important. That was important. This has been, I think, an enlightening conversation. Yes, if the girls ever want to come on and get interviewed, I sure want to know what they was thinking.
I'm going to propose it to them. I am.
Not that little one, because she kind of a wild
I
eye.
she might.
Oh no, the little one especially, because I want to see all her mechanisms and her move and how I want to see. She would have us cracking up.
We have 5 years with the oldest one.
She keeps us all in order, actually.
Yeah.
She keeps us all in order.
Yeah, because see, the little one to tell the truth.
She gonna wreck the house.
Right. You're right. That's what we need. That's what will break the internet. Yes. Yes. Tell her, come forth. Come forth. Tell her, come to the mic. Come to the mic. We have some questions for you, young lady. Come to the mic. But yes. So listen, tell everybody how they can find you all and how to subscribe to your channels and all those, different type of things.
Well, I'll name some, and I'm sure
you do it all.
No, because I'm gonna miss something because we
I got
all over. Okay, so the Rainbow Aunties, we have our email address, which is the rainbowaunties@gmail.com. We are also on TikTok as the Rainbow Aunties, on Instagram as the Rainbow Aunties.
You have a YouTube channel, the Rainbow Aunties. And so if you just Google the Rainbow Aunties, you're going to find us.
It'll
populate.
And to find our book on Amazon.com or anywhere you can buy your books online, Target, Walmart, Barnes & Noble, etc., English Sparks.
And as a matter of fact, on Facebook, we have a Facebook page that is called From Pain to Love.
Our Journey Outside the Rainbow.
So you can get on that. And we have a book clubs discussion group. And so,
which, by the way, the name of the book is From Pain to Love, Our Journey Outside the Rainbow.
That's good. And so we just want to be a vessel in this journey. We feel like we're a little late, but
we're a little late to the party.
We're a little late to the party, but the party keep on going. So that's what we are. We keep on going party. We just want to be those aunties, those elderly representation that our community needs. And Marilyn and I try our best to respond and answer to requests, and our team is excellent at that. So we're just here because it's needed in our community.
That's right. To be used in a positive way to make a positive difference.
Yeah.
Now, you guys can also find them at www.jenniferexperience.com because they are one of my trusted partners, and they are beginning a mentorship program. And so I want to announce that to all of you that they will be beginning a mentorship program under the Jennifer Experience. And so here's your chance. If you want to be mentored by the Rainbow Aunties, come one, come all. They're open and ready to go. And we're going to have some activities coming up so you can meet them and greet them in person, all this other kind of stuff. We have a lot of stuff going on in the future. So it's going to be a wonderful thing. So even if you go to my website, you can still find out information about them. You can find their book, their bio, and how to contact them, all that good stuff. And definitely how to, get a hold of their mentorship program. So it's been great.
With that said, Jennifer, I just want to say that being a part of the Jennifer Experience, we have a network. Marilyn and I will always tell you that we can only tell you what has worked for us in our relationship. But the Jennifer Experience have some partners that we can pull on
and all the resources we put together.
The most important thing is that you be whole in whatever journey that you are. And so that's what we're excited about, being a part of.
Yes. And we're definitely excited to have you. We're super, super excited. So this has been great. Absolutely phenomenal. And when do you guys do your live so people can catch you on TikTok?
The normal schedule is Thursday and Sunday.
We might do a pop-up
here and there. Yeah.
Okay.
But that's the normal schedule, Thursday and Sunday night. Right?
Yeah, that's the normal schedule.
All right. So you guys go check out their lives. And it's, like I say, it's been great. Thank you all for coming and talking with me and going over the book. And you all go out and get this book. Make sure you check it out, From Pain to Love, Our Journey Outside the Rainbow, the Rainbow Aunties. Great book. I enjoyed it immensely. It's not too thick, y'all. There's some pages in here, but not too thick.
Well, it's got large print. It's
Mm.
large print. So
I could read it without my glasses. I appreciate that. I didn't have to put my glasses on to read it. And I hear they have a couple of colored copies.
yes,
Yeah.
you can have the black copy.
And you can
Which-
order that right off our website.
Yeah, off the Amazon.com. We're going to also make that accessible on the Jennifer Experience link when we link up the options to purchase the book.
Mm.
And I'm just going to talk past Jennifer doing all that to me and say that I want to thank you so much for allowing us the opportunity. We are so, 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 so grateful and excited to be in partnership with you, and can't wait to see all the experiences that are to come.
Yes, a lot of people gonna get help and be able to have 40-year lasting relationships.
That's the goal.
At least we know looking at you is possible. It's possible.
It may not be easy, but it's so pleasing.
Listen. It's possible. So, yeah, thank you again for coming, and thank you all for listening to Different Perspectives today. You all take good care, and we'll see you later. The question has been asked of me many times. What is the Jennifer Experience? Why should I come to you for help? What is it that you can do for me that can't nobody else do for me? The answer to that question is this. I'm not a magician. I don't do magic. I don't do any of that type of stuff. What I do is give you the real and honest truth. I give you what I have learned from my life and my experiences, and I've had a lot of experiences. But through all of those experiences, what I have learned to do is see beyond limitations. I've been able to see that people get bound up in what's in their head, and they're unable to move past that. And so whether it's fear, whether it's loss, whether it's breakup, whether it's dysfunction, whether it's lack of communication, whatever it is that's going on, I am certain that I can assist you through that just because of what special gift has been given to me, just because of how I've been able to overcome so many things, and because I do not allow myself to be limited by the limitations that are in my mind. I feel like we all have limitations that our mind comes with, but it's up to you to break through those limitations to reach your full potential, and that's what I'm here for. So if somebody were to ask you why the Jennifer Experience, the Jennifer Experience will help you see past today. It will help you get to tomorrow. The Jennifer Experience will show you the path that you need to go through so that at some point in time, you'll be able to give the same gift that I gave to you, you'll be able to give it to someone else, because I will equip you with what you need to make it through whatever you're going through. This I know for sure.